It's 8:13, and people are taking advantage of this window of opportunity this morning to get out before it gets really hot and the thunderstorms return. This is a look, of course, at Southern Pines Longleaf Golf and Family Club, and they're getting ready for some fun out there for at least a little while. Right now, temperatures are not too bad. 73 in Roxborough, 79 Fayetteville. It is already 81 in Goldsboro, 79 in Rocky Mount. Now, we do hit the triple digits in terms of the heat index later this afternoon, right around or just after lunchtime, 100 to 102. But compared to 2 days ago on Wednesday, our heat index was 112. You still don't want to exert yourself this afternoon, but we're not under a heat advisory or an excessive heat warning today. We do have a level 1 risk for severe storms. We had several storms pop up yesterday that produced some wind damage. Same risk today for some strong winds or possibly some heavy rain. And the chances for that are just like we normally see, mid to late afternoon into the evening. Once the sun sets, we'll see that threat diminishing. We'll talk about how much of this lingers into the weekend coming up.
Elizabeth, that stormy night last night left quite a mess in Apex. Here's what we're looking at. This is a live pic with the help of photographer Michael Joyner. He is showing us where Apex Utilities have been on that scene all morning long for the last 10 hours or so, trying to get those lines back up as a result of those trees coming down. So back here live in the WRAL Traffic Center, if you want to get around that, you probably want to use Highway 64 if you're coming south. If you're coming north, the detour is right there. It's Haddon Hall Drive. I have an update in less than 5 minutes.
1 week from today will be the 4th of July, and a video message that comes with a reminder, like Chris Lovingood likes to say, stop what you're doing and look at your screen right now. Watch this. This is a demonstration video of what can happen when things go wrong with fireworks. Okay, so if you are thinking about making a trip south of the border this weekend in preparation for next weekend, remember, South Carolina's laws are not so strict. North Carolina laws are very strict. Roman candles, bottle rockets, anything that flies or leaves the ground, they're illegal in North Carolina. Even firecrackers are illegal in North Carolina. I'm not trying to be a wet blanket here, just giving you the rules so you can be safe and not get busted. This, again, a demonstration video there, but with a message just to go to a professional fireworks show and avoid stuff like that.
Look, you told me to stop and look at it. Now I don't want to have fireworks anywhere near me. All right, thanks, Jeff. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office has made a new arrest in a 2022 shooting that killed a man and left a woman paralyzed. Now, this is that shooting that killed the son of the star of the Lizard Lake Towing reality TV series. Nearly 4 years ago, Alex Shirley and Sophie Hagee were in a car when investigators said gang members fired 20 shots into the vehicle. That was on Josephine Road. Shirley was killed and Hagee was left paralyzed from the waist down. 4 people were charged after that shooting, and a 5th person, Kevon Nicholson, was arrested and charged just this week. The families of the victims spoke with WRAL.
It's just really impressive to see the amount of time and effort that the Sheriff's Department in Johnson County has put into this case.
Ever since the day that she got shot, she's pretty much been in pain every day. She's trying recently to resume her college courses that she had to quit when she got shot. But even doing that is a struggle.
A poor family. Nicholson was taken into custody in Philadelphia and is being extradited to North Carolina. WRAL is working to get new insight into why authorities determined that foul play was involved in a house fire in southern Wake County. Search warrants revealed the victims found dead inside the burning home, they were shot. Bullet casings and other items were also found in the home. The warrant shows the fire started in 2 places, but a cause has not been determined. 49-year-old Shannon Collins, 2 teenagers, and 2 cats were found dead. An incident report shows deputies responded to a domestic violence call the day before the fire. We talked to Collins' daughter, who described her estranged father as violent.
I've always just felt, afraid for her that something like this would happen.
We also reached out to Wake County's Sheriff's Office trying to get clarity on a suspect, and they told us they are not looking for anyone at this time, at least in that regard. The medical examiner's office will determine the official cause of death. There are new developments in the detention of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The Department of Justice says Abrego will be taken into ICE custody for deportation proceedings, and that will happen when he is released from federal custody. An Asheville judge said that could happen as soon as today. An attorney for the Justice Department says Abrego Garcia will be deported, but not to his home country of El Salvador. It's unclear where he's going to go. President Donald Trump's personal attorney is demanding retractions from both CNN and the New York Times over their reporting on Iran. The attorney claims stories from those media outlets this week were false and defamatory. The reporting described an intelligence assessment of U.S. airstrikes in Iran that was at odds with what President Trump said about the attacks. He has insisted Iran's nuclear sites were, quote, completely and totally obliterated, end quote. CNN rejected the claims made by Trump's attorney, and the New York Times published a response saying in part, quote, no retraction is needed, no apology will be forthcoming. All right, let's check. We got fun with Legos, Pride Month, and a food truck rodeo is on the agenda for the Triangle this weekend. Let's take a look at WRAL's Out and About Best Bets. The Break Universe Lego Convention gets underway at the Raleigh Convention Center tomorrow, and this will be the 11th year the convention has been held in the Triangle. The two-day event will include Lego exhibits and artwork, and artists will get a chance to talk about their creative brick pieces. The convention gets underway tomorrow at 10 a.m., and tickets are still available if you want to go. And there are more Pride events set to get underway this weekend in the Triangle. Boxcar Bar and Arcade is hosting a Pride Month vendor market that's in Durham tomorrow. Local businesses will be participating and drinks will be available for purchase. The market will happen from noon until 4 p.m. And then, got a great day for food truck lovers. More than 50 trucks will be at the Raleigh Food Truck Rodeo downtown. People will get a chance to support locally owned trucks. The event will be on Fayetteville Street. That is from noon until 6. And you can find a full list of Out and About's best picks at WRAL.com. Just click the Out and About tab. Now, if you're going to go out and enjoy a food truck, that's fine. Just make sure you stay hydrated. Folks, that's really the big story. Even though today is not a WRAL Weather Alert Day, Elizabeth, you gotta stay cool.
You do. And find some shade if you're going to be out at an event, especially in the afternoon over the weekend. We're going to see the next several days the same thing that we did yesterday. There's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. We see the sun, rise high in the sky and start to interact with a lot of that moisture, and thunderstorms pop up. We had several storm reports, 5 in fact, one of those up in Mecklenburg County, Virginia, and then 4 of those, one of those in Apex, and we've been covering that story where we had trees down, power outages, some traffic issues there. A couple of cells popped up with some wind damage around Jordan Lake, and then one in Sanford. So it was not widespread, and that's the same thing that we'll likely see today. It won't be widespread, but somebody's likely to see a little bit of wind damage, some heavy rain, and the possibility that we would have a power outage or two. Here's Futurecast, and it's going to be the typical timeline. By lunchtime, we start to have the potential for some of these storms to pop up. These can be hard to predict in terms of where it is. Meteorologist Chris Michaels earlier this week was talking about, these sort of pop-up cells are sort of like watching popcorn pop. You're not exactly sure where those are going to pop up just due to the convection that we see happening in our atmosphere, but somebody's likely to see them, so plan accordingly. A lot of folks won't end up seeing any rain. It's a 30 to 40% chance for this afternoon and evening. 30% chance on Saturday and Sunday. Tuesday, it's a slightly higher chance because we'll actually have a front that comes through, and so that potential may be a little bit more widespread. Taking another look here at Southern Pines, there are a few people out there here at Longleaf Golf and Family Club taking advantage of our window of opportunity before it gets too hot. It does feel like 95 by 11, so this time of year always more comfortable early in the morning. It will feel like 100 to 102 this afternoon, but that's a good 10 degrees cooler, if you will, than it was on Wednesday. We're going to hold it at 101 to 102, 103 all the way into the weekend. We'll watch Monday closely. Otherwise, it's not likely to get to the point where we would have a heat advisory. Again, if you're going to be out and about Saturday and Sunday, just keep in mind that there'll be some heat and some afternoon thunderstorms, not only over the weekend, but well into next week. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now at the WRAL Traffic Center. Let's get right to Apex and show you what's going on. It's a situation where the Apex utilities have been there on William Street, closed right around the Beaver Commons area in both directions because some power lines that came down overnight. It's a situation that we've been following all morning long. Utility crews are making some progress there, but that road remains closed in that area. So let's go to the map and show you how to get around it. You got Highway 64. If you're coming south, just get off on that road. That will help you avoid that situation. If you're coming north, the detour is right around Haddon Hall Drive. You've also got Apex Peakway or even Olive Chapel Road as a result of what's happening there. So just try to avoid Beaver Commons for now until we get that road reopened. Things are really beginning to lighten up on the southern loop of the Beltline. We've been looking at that for the last hour or so, but right now you're just looking at a 1-minute delay if you're taking care of that southern loop of the Beltline. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Always take us with you on the go. Thank you, Ken. Grand reopening. Governor Josh Stein will be in Western North Carolina for the reopening of Chimney Rock State Park. We're going to tell you why the governor says this is so important to Helene recovery. And school cell phone restrictions. A new proposal is headed to the governor's desk. We're going to talk about what could potentially be in store for students if that bill is signed.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Your time is 8:26. I'm Chris Lovingood. Let's go ahead and head over to the WRAL Severe Weather Center with Elizabeth.
We do have the potential for some isolated storms to become severe, very similar to yesterday. Yesterday, we had 5 reports of wind damage. We'll see something like that today, where winds could gust up to 60 miles per hour, and we could have some heavy rain with these storms. It's the typical timeline. It'll be after lunchtime all the way up until the evening. Once we hit sunset, of course, we'll lose energy in the atmosphere, and those storms will die down. It's also going to be hot, but not as hot as it was a couple of days ago. Our heat index will be around 100 to 102, which keeps us out of a heat advisory, but it is still going to be toasty with highs in the mid-90s. Ken?
All right, happening down the WRAL Traffic Center. Boy, things have really gotten a lot better, particularly on that southern loop of the Belt Line. We used to have like a delay stretching all the way back to South Saunders, but right now you're just seeing it just about yellow, so things are moving along rather nicely there on the southern loop, and for the most part, you're just looking at a 1-minute delay. If you're coming in from Johnson County, Garner, from Highway 36, no delays whatsoever to report. Of course, I'll have an update at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
Tow trucks helped get a dump truck right side up after it overturned on Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh. And this happened just before midnight near the underpass for I-540. The driver suffered minor injuries, and teams were able to get that dump truck right side up removed from the road as well at 2 a.m. Apex Utilities are currently working on repairs to utility lines in Apex. And storms brought down the trees on power lines in that area. Parts of William Street is currently closed to drivers as the teams are completing their work there. Next on Fox 50, Chimney Rock State Park officially reopens today. The grand return of the Western North Carolina staple.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking this morning, road closures. Teams are working to restore power after the latest round of storms. The roads to avoid this morning while they are cleaning up that mess. An overturned dump truck. What we're learning about the driver involved in this crash you're seeing here in Raleigh this morning.
And what to expect. You have another chance for thunderstorms this afternoon and evening and more hot days. I'll show you what it will feel like today and through the weekend.
Summer shortage. The cities of Raleigh and Durham are on the hunt for lifeguards as crowds prepare to head to the pool. How officials are planning to fill those jobs. We'll walk you through it. All right, we made it all the way to Friday. Thanks so much for joining us here on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood. Weather-wise, no WRAL Weather Alert Day. That's good. What's not good, still going to be kind of hot out there, and you want to stay hydrated, Elizabeth.
This is going to be just our normal kind of southern summer pattern, which is hot, it is humid, and we have a chance of afternoon thunderstorms. Because of all the moisture in the atmosphere, once that sun rises a little higher and our temperatures warm up, it's going to interact with all that moisture and pop up some thunderstorms like we saw yesterday. We had 5 reports of wind damage yesterday. We'll likely have something like that again today. It's a level 1 risk, so it means just isolated storms that could produce some wind damage or some heavy rain. The chances, of course, mainly in the afternoon into the evening. Once we get to sunset, we tend to lose enough energy that those storms will taper off. This is a look at Fenton and Cary. Lots of blue sky out there. We will warm things up fairly quickly. Our dew point is at 71. That's definitely a muggy feel, and our temperature is 76. Our heat index will climb to the triple digits right around or just after lunchtime, but no higher than around 102, which keeps us just below the heat advisory criteria. We'll talk about what changes we'll see coming up in the next 7 days. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, at 8:31, we're staying on top of that road closure in Apex. We've been on it all morning since we've been on the air, and here's what it is. William Street, Highway 55, closed around the Beaver Commons shopping center area. Let's get right to WRAL's Ali Cadlabar. You've been on the scene all morning long. You've watched that work progress. Give us a status report.
Yes, well, we are seeing that light is still going to be out for the next few hours. We know from a lineman that just told us. So who knows how long William Street, this section here, will be closed. But these linemen have been out here for 12 hours, more than 12 hours, out here repairing utility lines, getting everything back to where it was. But it's been a long, long night and into the morning for them. Take a look at this video from the WRAL breaking news tracker around 8:30 last night. A downpour came in, a tree fell onto utility lines, broke 2 utility poles. So this causing a power outage for more than 2,500 customers in Apex. Now, we do know that most of that power has been restored to customers, some saying that it was a hot night, but they are very lucky to have it restored this morning. Again, you're seeing some of that debris from what happened last night, those utility poles on the ground. We're also seeing that utility line still draping there. So still a lot more work to go, but luckily things are clearing up as we speak. The utility linemen, they're getting ready to head out. Hopefully that's a good sign for drivers, right, Ken?
Yeah, that is absolutely a good sign. And really, Julie, Beaver Commons is such a real busy area. But if you still have to avoid the area, you might want to stick with Highway 64 if you're heading south. If you're heading north this morning, you've got the Head Hall Drive, which is an alternate route there in that particular area. But as you just saw, those utility company crews are actually getting ready to pull out. We're seeing definitely things easing up on the southern loop of the Beltline. We were seeing a real major slowdown there in that area, but right now you're just looking at a 1-minute delay. You're coming in from Garner, Johnston County, from Highway 36 up until I-40. It's no delays whatsoever. Here's the northern loop of the Beltline. Things are flowing along rather nicely. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
I want to point your attention to this. You see these tow trucks right here? They had to get this dump truck right side up after it overturned on Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh. This happened just before midnight near the underpass for I-540. The driver suffered minor injuries, but no charges are expected to happen in this case. The teams were able to get that dump truck removed from the road around 2 o'clock in the morning. Raleigh police are looking for the person responsible for stabbing someone at a bus station. And this happened on South Blunt Street. The victim's injuries were not life-threatening at last check. With temperatures climbing, we know many people will be wanting to spend their weekend at the pool, but there is a bit of an issue right there that could put a damper on those pool plans. WRAL's Flynn Snyder joins us from the Optimist Pool in Raleigh. And Flynn, there's a lifeguard shortage to our understanding.
Yeah, Chris, that's right. Good morning to you. The city of Raleigh is looking for more people to do just this. Sit in these lifeguard chairs, be lifeguards, and keep a watchful eye over the swimmers at city pools. They're expecting, or their need rather, to fill about 40 vacancies for lifeguard positions. And with pools expected to be crowded during the upcoming hot weekend, pool staff say they don't have the amount of lifeguards at some locations needed to safely handle full capacity. They're encouraging anyone at least 15 years old to apply who can get lifeguard certified through the city of Raleigh for free. And while they haven't had to close any pools because of the shortage, the city's aquatic director says they have had to limit capacity at some locations.
Just being able to accommodate full capacity because we need a few more lifeguards. We need lifeguards that have that evening, weekend, daytime availability.
Yeah, it's not just Raleigh. Over in Durham, officials there say they also are looking to fill about 40 vacancies for lifeguard positions. In Durham, pool staff say they adjust safety requirements depending on the number of lifeguards on duty at each pool at a time. Reporting in Raleigh, Flynn Snyder, WRAL News.
All right, this is a video that a witness sent to us. Firefighters dousing flames at an apartment complex. This is in Mebane, according to witnesses there, and a neighbor at the Stonebrook Apartments on Dogwood Drive sent us this. You can notice here clearly the massive flames and the smoke billowing from the roof of the building. This happened shortly before 2 o'clock this morning. And so we're working to learn what caused the fire and how many units were affected. A motorcyclist is recovering after being seriously hurt in a crash overnight. What you're seeing here is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. And this crash happened near Hillsborough Street and Brooks Avenue. This would have been around 9 o'clock last night. The driver was taken to the hospital, but it's unclear what led to that crash. Authorities say a person is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries because a vehicle hit them in Fayetteville. This is video from Owen Drive near Village Drive, and the crash happened around 10:45 last night. Now, the driver involved with this case did stay there on the scene, according to investigators, and we're working to learn if that person is going to face charges. Governor Josh Stein will be in western North Carolina today at Chimney Rock State Park as it reopens to visitors. Access to the state park, it's been kind of limited since September. That's because of the park's entrance bridge that was destroyed by Hurricane Helene. The governor called Chimney Rock a jewel of western North Carolina. He says opening the state park will draw tourists back to that area. Advanced registrations are required and capacity is limited as recovery efforts continue. You can actually book your spot right now on chimneyrockpark.com. A bill restricting cell phone use in every North Carolina school is headed to the governor's desk. Lawmakers have debated this for months. They agreed this week on House Bill 959. The bill says phones must be turned off, with a few exceptions. All school boards would need to recreate cell phone policies and consequences for violating them. The legislation would require many school boards to alter smartphone policies they've already passed, and that's because some don't allow as many exceptions as the law requires. A district such as Wake County's, well, it doesn't spell out consequences for violating the rules. A new resource is available for young people in Fayetteville. The city will open a new community center this afternoon on Murkison Road. The center will offer quite a bit there: low-cost mental health services, youth enrichment programs, academic touring, and career development. The renovation was made possible thanks to a $1 million grant in funds from the American Rescue Plan. There will be a key handoff ceremony this afternoon, and that starts at 2 o'clock. The man accused of helping bomb a California fertility clinic died by suicide. Daniel Park was found unresponsive in his cell in Los Angeles Tuesday morning, and he was pronounced dead at the hospital. The medical examiner's office listed the manner of death as suicide and the cause as blunt force trauma, but no further details were given. This month, Park was charged with supplying chemicals for explosives to the bomber who died in the explosion. Today, the Supreme Court is set to issue opinions on 6 cases during the final day of its term. Justices are expected to give a ruling today on President Donald Trump's plan to end birthright citizenship. Other cases, including LGBTQ+ books in classrooms and a government task force healthcare recommendations, that's also slated. The court will convene at 10 o'clock this morning. The NHL draft kicks off tonight in Los Angeles, and the first round starts tonight at 7. The Hurricanes have the 29th pick. Round 2 through 7 begin tomorrow at noon. NHL free agency starts on Tuesday. We now know who will represent North Carolina in the Special Olympics USA Games. Special Olympics North Carolina held its USA Games selection show last night. Athletes from the Triangle and across the state will head to Minnesota next June to compete in the Games. They are all excited for a chance there to showcase their skills against the other athletes from all over the country. Competition included 5-on-5 basketball, powerlifting, even tennis. And WRAL's Ken Smith and Special Olympics athlete Brian Henry co-hosted last night's selection show. The world's largest swimming lesson was held in Raleigh, and it was held yesterday at the Optimus Aquatic Center. And it's in partnership with Raleigh Parks and Recreation. The goal was to promote awareness about teaching kids how to swim and avoid drowning. Olympic gold medalist Colin Jones was even a special guest there. Research shows that drowning has become the leading cause of unintended death for children ages 1 to 4.
It just takes hard work, perseverance, and dedication. But the swimming piece, that's the part that I want to get home for everyone. Anyone can learn to swim. We're not built for the water, but we can learn to be safer on the water.
The World Health Organization estimates 236,000 people died from drowning in 2019. The time is 8:41. Fireball falling from the sky. Several videos are circulating showing a bright light shooting across the blue skies. We'll explain what this mysterious sighting is. Plus, tornado outbreak, a funnel cloud ripping through a field in the Midwest. We are going to show you more of this in just a bit. Hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and step outside and take a look at Southern Pines there. I think I see a few people toward the right hitting the links. Well, the heat's not going anywhere. That's not great. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is monitoring just how hot it'll get this weekend.
844, still holding in the 70s, but just barely. 79 in Wilson, a little bit of a breeze there. You can see the whirligigs moving around. 76 in Durham and 79 in Fayetteville. Lots of sunshine. That sunshine, of course, is going to interact with all the moisture in the atmosphere and bring us a chance of just some isolated storms that could produce some wind damage and some heavy rain. We had 5 reports yesterday of wind damage, but that included Apex, where we had a lot of power outages. So we could definitely have some impacts, but they're just not likely to be widespread. Starting right after lunchtime, 20 to 30% chance of storms. It's a 40% chance this evening, but once we get past sunset, we'll see those storms tapering off. It is going to be hot, but not hot enough for a heat advisory. Still, it's going to feel like 100 to 102 this afternoon, so you want to take it easy, Ken.
Some good advice right there. Listen, things have definitely cleared up and really eased up a lot on that southern loop of the Beltline as we isolate the Beltline for you this morning. We're seeing very little backups there, as well as the northern loop of the Beltline just showing free and clear. And here's a look at that northern loop of the Beltline. Those are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning. I'll have another update on your morning commute in less than 10 minutes.
Congress has until Independence Day to pass President Donald Trump's tax and spending bill. GOP leaders say they hope the Senate can rework the bill and pass it this weekend. After that, it would still have to go back to the House. Republicans are using a process called reconciliation for the bill. Basically, it allows Senate passage with a simple majority, but it's largely for budget legislation. And then the Senate parliamentarian says several of the bill's provisions don't quite qualify. Democrats say they don't want to cut Medicaid and food stamps to offset trillions of dollars in tax breaks. A utility worker is recovering after being hit by a truck while on the job in Louisiana. Now, before I show you this video, I want to be very clear. The worker is going to be physically okay. The video shows a tractor trailer making a turn, and then at one point, it hits that utility worker. Wait for it right here. Goes through the intersection right there. You see it hit the bucket truck right there? Goodness. That person was working on a street light there, and that worker was dumped upside down, but thanks to a safety harness, they were held in place. How about that? Police are working to determine if that driver should face charges. A groundskeeper in California is recovering from driving over illegal fireworks with his lawnmower. I mean, this happened at a high school in Petaluma, and the man had minor injuries, but investigators don't know where those illegal fireworks came from. Bit of a surprise, though, after that happened. The explosion was the second recent firework case in that area in terms of something happening, including one case that injured a teenager. Authorities remind the public to stay safe leading up to the 4th of July.
Brad Pitt's L.A. mansion was robbed recently, and there are brand new details coming out about it this morning. A $5 million L.A. mansion that got ransacked. And here's some video of that site right there. We've seen this happen with athletes as well as actors who are out of town. Police say 3 robbers broke into the house 10:30 Wednesday night, right where that spot shadow is right there. Over the fence, they scaled that wall that surrounds the property, busted through a front window there. This is the investigation there. Police said that they didn't say what was stolen, some random items, and they didn't give a value. But this took place while the Oscar-winning actor is traveling the world. I mean, promoting his new movie, F1. Everyone knows he's not home, and that follows the pattern of some of these thief crews who are breaking into celebrities' homes.
Now, one of the fallouts. The people know you're not home, they're going to go there. All right, thanks, Jeff. Tornadoes were seen around Minnesota as the state experienced severe weather yesterday. I mean, look at this right here. A driver captured this where you can clearly see the video of this tornado building up strength near Heartland. That's south of Minneapolis, if you know that area. Another tornado was seen in a field in Hayward. The tornado siren just blared in the background. But thankfully, that tornado eventually died out before it could grow in intensity. Reports of damage are still coming together this morning, but still pretty powerful. The city of Raleigh will begin distributing NOAA weather radios to the community tomorrow. And these radios can be critical during severe weather. That's because they deliver continuous updates from the National Weather Service. They offer prompt alerts, helping people remain informed and ready, even when the power goes out. And the city is partnering with Southeast Raleigh Promise to hand out the weather radios during a community resource fair tomorrow. That starts at 11 o'clock that morning, and it's at Green Road Park. So if you want to go, that's where you go. If you plan to stop by the DMV this weekend without an appointment, yeah, I'd make other plans. Offices will be closed for the next 2 weekends. They'll be closed Saturday, June 28th and July 5th. Saturday services will continue on July 12th, and this is happening as the department expanded hours for walk-in services at 20 driver's license offices across the state. Esports is taking over Lenovo Center this weekend. 16 of the world's best Rocket League players are competing for more than $350,000. They're also trying to qualify for the World Tournament later this year. Rocket League is made by Cary-based developer Epic Games, and tickets for this weekend's championship matches are available now. Look at that, a bright flash in the sky. I'm going to wager you've seen this video, right? Going viral online, a meteor streaking through the sky in the southeast. That was taken in Lexington County, South Carolina. It was also reportedly seen from western North Carolina. A lot of videos of that. The flash of light, as you see it, appears to be a meteor entering our atmosphere at tremendous speed. Adam Sandler is spreading laughs across America, and a sequel is announced for a successful live-action remake. Douglas Hyatt has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
It's very nice.
Adam Sandler is hitting the road. The Sandman just announced a stand-up comedy tour that will take him to 30 cities across the U.S. The arena tour, called Adam Sandler, You're My Best Friend, kicks off in September. A sequel to the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch is in the works, and Stitch broke the news himself on social media. It's a decision that certainly makes financial sense for Disney. The remake is on track to become this year's first billion-dollar blockbuster. No final rest for Spirit in the Sky. Norman Greenbaum's 1969 classic lives on in a new music video. It's tied to the vinyl re-release of the album it came from. A remixed version of the song came out earlier this year. And if you look closely, there's Greenbaum himself in the video, getting into the spirit. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
All right, let's go ahead and go over to Elizabeth Gardner for the next weather maker on deck for us. What do we have for us here, Elizabeth?
So all that sunshine that's showing up out there right now as it gets hotter and hotter will interact with all the moisture in the atmosphere and cause some thunderstorms to pop up this afternoon, very similar to the same setup that we saw yesterday. So we do have a level 1 risk for today. That's what we saw yesterday. But of course, one cell that moved right over Apex last night caused some power outages, knocked down some trees, and caused some real problems. There were only 5 reports of wind damage, but it doesn't take that many to cause some problems. So we'll see that again today with a chance of winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour along with some heavy rain. Here's a look at Futurecast. It's likely to happen around the same time, just typical summer pattern with afternoon and evening storms. Notice they just sort of pop up anywhere, and that's the way it'll be this afternoon. There's not really a favored location for the storms until we get to Tuesday. And Tuesday we'll have a front that comes through. That'll be a little bit more organized. At RDU right now, we have clear skies, and it is warming up, 76 right now with a dew point of 71. Now, a dew point of 71 is high, don't get me wrong, but on Wednesday, it was up around 78, 79 around this time. And so, boy, it already felt extremely hot. And that's why we were looking at dangerous conditions. Now, it is going to be hot, but there has to be a threshold for the danger, and we're just under that today. It is 81 in South Hill, 79 in Fayetteville, 81 in Goldsboro as we're heading into the 9 o'clock hour, 79 in Garner, 76 in Apex, 76 degrees in Morrisville. Around town, highs will be in the mid to upper 90s this afternoon, but with a dew point in the low 70s, it is going to feel more like 102 this afternoon, 101 Saturday. Monday started to bump up just a little bit. We'll be watching Monday and Tuesday to see if we end up above that threshold, but expect our highs at least through the weekend to be in the mid 90s with the heat index in the low 100s. We take a look at our temperatures. Notice that we do see a better chance for storms on Tuesday and Wednesday with some cooler temperatures. Chris?
And here's a look at your winning lottery numbers.